Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Tinnitus. As you probably kind of can tell from the state of my YouTube at the moment, I've not really been that active, mainly because I've lost my flow of what I'm going to be talking about to do with tinnitus. So I've had to think about what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do a watch when or watch if, not quite decided yet, of what to do in certain scenarios when you're struggling or when you're wondering about different things with tinnitus. So rather than me talking for about 10 minutes about all different pointers to do with tinnitus, I'm going to choose one subject each kind of week, every other week maybe, sounds more realistic, and then I'm going to be covering that one topic, okay? So I'm going to put all of these in a playlist, and then you can have a little swipe through and see what kind of is floating your boat or what you need to watch kind of thing. I think that'll be a little bit more helpful than me just rambling, although I know you like a ramble. So welcome to the first episode of the Watch When or Watch If series. These videos are what you can turn to when you're having some ups and downs with tinnitus. And today's episode is all about hearing aids for tinnitus. Specifically if you're considering them, or maybe if someone's mentioned them to you, or you've booked a hearing test, or maybe you've tried everything and you're just wondering what can help me now, and hearing aids have been on your mind but you're not quite sure how they can help tinnitus. Whatever brings you here, I want to walk you through what you should know to do with hearing aids and tinnitus. Let's start with the basics. Hearing aids can help tinnitus, but only in certain cases. Obviously, the biggest reason they can help people with tinnitus is if they have a hearing loss. Fun fact about me, if you didn't know, I have hearing loss myself, which is why I wear hearing aids bilaterally in my ears, okay? So these are for my moderate mid-range hearing loss, and I first went to the audiologist about it because I thought, you know, I've got tinnitus, I need help kind of thing. It was actually part of a sponsorship opportunity that I met Stephen Hale, and turns out my hearing loss was significant enough to have hearing aids, and they've completely changed my life ever since. So if you haven't had a hearing test, you need to get one, because even if you're struggling with tinnitus and you think you haven't got hearing loss, which is exactly what I was like, you know, you might have that underlying loss that might make a huge difference if you do get it treated. The biggest reason they help is because of hearing loss, and not just big obvious hearing losses. It's sometimes even a small high frequency loss that you didn't even know you had, which could make all the difference if you just make that little change. When you lose your hearing, especially in certain frequencies, the brain isn't getting enough input, and the brain doesn't like that. So what does it do? It starts to compensate by listening inside your body and making up these noises, which we call tinnitus. It's not that you're imagining these noises, they're completely there for you. And it's just your brain trying to fill that silent void that you're missing. And you might not even know you have this silent space. When you wear hearing aids, and I mean properly fitted up hearing aids to your specific prescription, not just ones that you buy off the shelf, I've been there, done that, it doesn't work. You give your brain the stimulation that it's been craving. And for many people, not everyone, but for many people, including myself, that's enough to turn down that tinnitus. Not always straight away, but gradually. I've actually seen this firsthand with many clients. It's been incredible to witness the transformation in front of my eyes. We have people come in who have been suffering chronically with tinnitus, and then we see them transform when they get fitted up with hearing aids. We ask them, how's your tinnitus? And they can't hear it, and it's completely unbelievable. Unfortunately, that wasn't my case. It took me a while to realise how much they're actually helping, but for some people it's absolutely instant. But they have to be programmed up completely perfect to your prescription, or as best as it can be on the software. Otherwise, you've got hearing aids that are kind of to the average, and they're not going to work as well as they should be for your specific ear. What you should look out for with an audiologist that's going to set up your hearing aids is real ear measurements, and that's where they put the tubes in your ear and program the hearing aids that way. So if you are considering hearing aids, make sure to ask if they're doing real ear measurements as well. I think it's really important to be clear in this video that hearing aids aren't for everyone. They're not the magic fix sometimes. If you don't have a measurable hearing loss, they might not be for you, and they might not do much for your tinnitus. And if your tinnitus is caused by stress, neck tension, jaw problems, medication, well, hearing aids might not touch it at all. And that's why a proper hearing assessment matters. And I don't just mean a quick screen, I mean a full hearing consultation with a professional that knows how to do this and truly understands tinnitus. There's a lot of audiologists out there that will just get as many people in as quick as possible, give you the attention that you need, but not fully understand tinnitus, which is absolutely crucial because it's not like a one size fits all with tinnitus. Everyone's different. And that's why researching an audiologist to go to is so important. Look at reviews, for example, but make sure the reviews are verified and reliable. Have a look on Google reviews. You deserve to know what's actually going on with your hearing before you go and spend thousands of pounds on hearing aids. Okay, so let's say that you end up trying hearing aids, okay? What is it that you should expect? First of all, give it time. The first time you put hearing aids in, it's going to sound like a completely new world. You're going to hear sounds that you haven't heard before, depending on your loss. And for me, it felt like there were just some cheap speakers in my ears to start off with. Now I wear my hearing aids, it feels completely natural, and that's just because I've given it a few months and I've had them in continuously, and my brain has had chance to actually wire itself up with the hearing aids. Some people do notice immediate changes with their tinnitus as soon as they put them in, and it doesn't even need chance to kick in, whereas for myself it took months. You can't have this false sense of hope when you're sat there in the audiologist's consultation room, because you can sit there, you'll be sat there for about 90 minutes or so, really excited to put the hearing aids in, and then you can still hear your tinnitus. Don't be bothered if that happens, because it does take time. You need to give yourself a chance to adjust to them. If it does work straight away, wow, that's absolutely amazing, and that is exactly what we want to see, but it can take a few months, and that's completely normal. Everyone's different. If you don't know me, I actually work as a hearing care assistant, and I did study graphic design for 4 years at university, but in my 3rd year of university I really started struggling with tinnitus, which then I started posting about, and that's where my passion kind of grew for spreading awareness about it. So I changed my career path, and I'm now a hearing care assistant at Stephen Hale Hearing. And let me just say, the amount of clients I've seen which have had these unbelievable transformations with hearing aids and tinnitus is just outstanding. I never thought that it was actually a thing, that hearing aids could kind of like give that sense of peace and that escape, until I tried it myself, and until I started seeing other people go through the same transformation as myself. It's amazing, but not everyone experiences this. Your brain needs to relearn how to process sound, and the sound that you've been missing for years maybe. So patience is key in this. Now, a really common experience, and an experience I deal with every single day, is taking my hearing aids off and boom, I go to bed and my tinnitus is loud again. That is the contrast between hearing sounds and then not hearing sounds again. Your brain gets really confused, it gets a bit fired up, and this is something that you need to expect if you are going on the journey of hearing aids. If this is something that frightens you, then I would talk to your audiologist and get some reassurance about this, because it can be something that can stress you out, and when you take your hearing aids out to go to sleep, it can be just another cycle of what do I do, but there's obviously things you can do for this. For me, if I have a spike when I take them out, what I do is I put some sounds on, and I can go to sleep quite nicely with that. Also, I expect my tinnitus to be loud when I take out my hearing aids. It's just something I've gotten used to and I'm prepared for. So I think preparation is key, and understanding that putting your hearing aids back on in the morning is going to help you. But sometimes I think wearing hearing aids to go sleep in is okay. You don't want to do it all the time. You need to have breaks from them to let your ears kind of recover, because if you have a foreign body in your ears 24/7, you're going to start building up wax, you could cause infection. You don't want any of that. But I think it's acceptable for some nights sleeping in hearing aids, especially if you've got white noise playing in the background with them, which is what mine can do, but I don't really enjoy white noise 24/7. It can feel discouraging when you do take them out at night and your tinnitus is still there, but that's when you need to remind yourself that hearing aids are an aid to your hearing. They're not a cure for tinnitus, they're helping your hearing, and in return, they're helping your tinnitus kind of settle down. So you're not curing tinnitus, but you're tuning it out. You're letting your hearing aids bring up the external stimulation, and your tinnitus is fading away into the background. That kind of thing. Ultimately, they're a tool, and a really helpful one. It doesn't mean you're back to square one when you take out your hearing aids and it's louder. It just means that you need other tools in your kit, like sound enrichment, CBT, tinnitus counselling, tinnitus therapies, that kind of thing. And to be honest, you need a good understanding of your own triggers, like I said, so you can be prepared for anything with your tinnitus, or be prepared when you know you're going to have a spike because of something you've done. For example, for myself, I know for a fact that coffee can spike my tinnitus. I don't know if it's because my blood pressure's increased or my heart's racing a bit more, but that does kind of spike my tinnitus a bit. But you know, it's the little pleasures in life that I'm not going to sacrifice for my tinnitus. If I know that my tinnitus is going to be louder because of something that I've done, you know, so be it. You know, if I'm enjoying myself, then that's really all that matters. I don't want to stop doing something completely just because I know my tinnitus is going to ramp up. If I can deal with it and I'm prepared, then I'm absolutely fine. This never used to be the case because I never used to know what my triggers were. So I would go out clubbing, get back, and it'd be so loud. Yeah, I would know that that's because of loud noise, but also alcohol spikes my tinnitus. I wasn't prepared, you know, and I never wore hearing protection, that kind of thing. But now I'm prepared for things. I have a much better mindset when it comes to tinnitus, and I won't stress about it. And I won't have this looming anxiety of when is it going to spike or when is it going to go away. What I don't hear talked about enough when it comes to hearing aids and tinnitus is the confidence that they bring. A bit of a strange one, because how can you feel confident with hearing aids behind your ears and everyone being able to see them, right? But hearing aids these days, especially the top of the range hearing aids, I've got mine in right now and you can't even see them. Yes, if I go like this, you can, but you can get ones that match your hair colour. And obviously, as you know, I've been changing my hair colour crazily recently, so I don't know what colour to go for, but I've got grey in at the moment, silver, but they come in all different colours. And unlike NHS aids, or I mean, NHS aids are great, they're fine, but the newest ones actually have a wire rather than a tube. So that's a wire, and the receiver, the speaker end, goes inside your ear. Whereas if you go through the NHS or you get older models, the speaker is in the back and it goes through a tube. Obviously, sound waves don't travel well round corners, and that's why the wire and the receiver in the ear is the best kind of thing you can go for, which I'm very, very, very lucky to have, but I work in the right place, which is brilliant. But the ones I've got are the Phonak Spheres. I have been making a video about them recently, about how I've been getting fit up with them and the journey of them, which I need to post. I will get around to it eventually, but I'll show you the process of how I do get fitted up with them. On my YouTube channel a few months ago, I posted a video, well, it must have been about a year ago now, of me wearing my old hearing aids and getting fitted up with them. And that's the perfect way of how you should be fitted up with hearing aids and how the process should go. So if you want to see how it should be, then have a look at my previous video. I think it's called Being Set Up with Hearing Aids for the First Time or something like that, but you'll see it. It's me with the audiologist Stephen Hale, and that's when I first actually met him. But with these ones, it's exactly the same kind of process of getting set up with them, with the real ear measurements, the speech and noise testing, that kind of thing. So as long as it's an extensive kind of process of getting hearing aids fitted up, making sure it matches your prescription, you know your audiologist is doing the right job. So going back to confidence, a lot of people with tinnitus struggle with social situations, and you can feel very lost in conversations. For myself, I would kind of stand there and I'll have a friend kind of being a translator. So I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, or you just do the old nod, smile, and yeah, and then someone would look at you like, why are you nodding? Like, and then you're like, no, that's not good. Like, you know, you were kind of trying to fit in, but yeah, you couldn't, because either tinnitus was too loud or your hearing loss was playing a part of things. Ultimately, you'd start to withdraw in conversations or avoid conversations altogether and stop socialising. I did this to an extent which is really bad, because you shouldn't let tinnitus stop you from doing anything, but sometimes it can feel like it is impossible to do anything with tinnitus. What I've noticed now I've got hearing aids is that I don't feel disconnected anymore, and I can truly enjoy conversations, whereas before I was using all of my energy to actually enjoy a conversation with someone, whereas now I'm not guessing, I'm not feeling disconnected, and I'm truly engaged in conversations, which has helped me a lot as a person, because I can actually kind of connect more deeply with people, with different individuals, and socialising with people is something that I really enjoy. When you can't hear anything, it makes things 10 times more difficult, and it's not enjoyable, and you feel like a different person because of it. Hearing aids gave me my life back, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what I'm saying as well. If you've got them to, you kind of unlock a new version of yourself that's been kind of kept away, locked up, without hearing everything that you should be. They can be the key to unlocking a better version of yourself, and that's what I've truly found in my case. They have made me feel a lot more in control, and a big chunk of my anxiety has gone away in just everyday life. I'll be honest, I didn't think hearing aids were always for me, and there's There was a time when I was first set up with hearing aids, I just kept taking them out because I couldn't deal with all of this noise. And to be honest, I felt like it made conversations worse at one stage in my life. But that was just because I wasn't used to them. I didn't give them a chance and I was just thinking negatively, and I thought, no, it's been 2 weeks, they're still not working, they're definitely not for me. But the truth is, you need to just give yourself time. I also thought, well, I've got hearing loss that I never knew that I had, and tinnitus has always been the problem for me. So I kind of brushed it off and thought, no, I'm too young for hearing aids. And no one's ever really mentioned that hearing loss is a huge factor of my life, that it should be something I'm acting upon. But when I had this first hearing test with Stephen Hale, I realised, okay, yeah, maybe it is something that I need to get sorted, but still it can't be that bad. I can't live without my hearing aids anymore, so that shows exactly what they're doing for me. I mean, some people don't like that lack of control with hearing aids, but hearing aids doesn't mean that you've lost the battle. It means that you're just living more comfortably, and you shouldn't be mad at that. I've accepted them as being kind of a part of me now. I love wearing my hearing aids, and I love showing people that you don't need to be old to have hearing aids. And a lot of people come in clinic, a lot of elderly people come in and they don't want hearing aids because they still feel too young for them, and they could be like 70 years old. And then I say to them, well, can you even notice my hearing aids? And they can't believe someone so young can have them, which is why I love my job, because the biggest misconception with hearing aids is that you have to be old to have them. They have to be visible and they have to be whistling. Mine don't whistle, you know, if they're properly set up, they're not going to whistle at you. And hearing aids these days, I can take phone calls with the click of my ear, basically, just a double tap. I can take phone calls, I can be on my phone, I can, you know, stream things into my hearing aids. They're more like, I don't know, AirPods than anything. And I want to touch on to AirPods just very, very briefly. They do have a new hearing aid feature, and you can kind of like have a hearing test with them in. We've had a few people come into the clinic recently wearing AirPods 24/7 as a substitute for actual hearing aids. They're ears red, they're sore, and you know, it doesn't look like it is the most comfortable thing in the world. AirPods are kind of like, they make you realise that you do need hearing aids, or you need that step up, because AirPods are for music. They're not a medical device. They're not something that can be programmed properly for your hearing loss. So, you know, hearing aids are the only way to go if you have hearing loss, because they're going to give you the best experience possible and the best lease of life that you'll ever have. But yeah, you can have sounds playing through your hearing aids as well, via Bluetooth, or just part of the hearing aids itself as part of the prescription. Some people love this, some people hate it. I think, me personally, I don't like it for me, just because yes, it's the control element of having a sound that you can turn off, I get that, and yes, it masks tinnitus, but white noise for me, just standard white noise, I don't enjoy. I don't think it's pleasurable for myself. It's not something that gives me any sense of relief. It's something that I kind of forced myself to listen to when I was really struggling with tinnitus, because everyone said, you need to listen to white noise, you need to play it this loud. And I got obsessed with it. I got obsessed with changing the levels. I got obsessed with trying to find exactly the key sound for my tinnitus. So that's the reason I don't play sounds in the back of my mind kind of thing with the hearing aids, because some people do. Some people, they have their hearing aids programmed to their actual hearing loss, but have the white noise playing at the back as well. But I say at the back, I mean like tinnitus will be one level and then the white noise will be another that's kind of like below tinnitus. So your tinnitus isn't fighting for the noise. Some people get on with it great. I personally don't, but you can have that option if you do find it helpful for you. So after talking about all of these different pointers, should you try hearing aids? Ask yourself that, should you try them? Well, here's my advice. Get yourself booked in for a hearing test if you haven't already. If you find that you have a hearing loss that's mild, yes, try hearing aids. Most audiologists offer a hearing aid trial period, so you can pay a fee, or there's a free trial period, and you can try them out and then, yeah, see if they're for you or not. Obviously, to notice the full results, you need to wear them for a few months or so to actually see if they are going to help you. Some people, the odd kind of occasion, you will get that straight away instant fix, which is amazing, but it doesn't happen for everyone. But even if your hearing loss is mild, it's worth considering hearing aids. But when you go to your first audiology consultation about hearing loss, go in with the mindset of you need or you want to get your hearing to the best it can possibly be. Mainly so you can get your brain focusing on something that isn't tinnitus, focusing on something that you should be hearing, rather than your brain making up sounds for you to listen to, which isn't the most pleasant thing. But treat it as a process, not that it's going to be an overnight instant fix, because hearing aids are an aid to your hearing. Like I've said, they're an aid, they're not a cure. They're going to help you tune out your tinnitus. Think of your hearing aids like a pair of glasses. They're not going to fix your eyesight, they're not going to fix your hearing loss, but they are going to really, really help you live a more fulfilled life. It can help you experience life more clearly, and that clarity can just really help your tinnitus in return. So why not give them a go? I know this is a lot to take in, especially if hearing aids are something that have been told that you should try. It can be a very overwhelming, kind of difficult chapter in your life, because it's easy to put a label on yourself and think that I'm not in control anymore, I need to rely on a device. And that's not true, okay? You want to live more comfortably, you want to live at peace with yourself, and you want to be the fullest you possibly can be, and you want to be you. Hearing aids can do that. They can help you be who you are. They can give you more clarity in life. They can make you feel more confident. Tinnitus is confusing, and it's a very strange process of trying to find what works, because no one knows exactly what works for everyone. It's a case of trial and error sometimes. And there is no shame in needing support along the way. If you do need support, RNID and Tinnitus UK are there for you. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you know where I am. I also offer one-to-one coaching calls. You can find this on my link tree in the description. So if you just want to talk to me one-to-one, I can't give medical advice, but I can give you reassurance and tips that have helped me along the way. I hope this video has given you a bit of reassurance and a clearer view of how hearing aids can fit into your tinnitus journey. They're not for everyone, but when they help, they really do help. Let me know if you've tried hearing aids in the comments, and sharing your experience could really, really help someone that's struggling to understand where they are on their journey. I read every one of your comments, and it is a safe space. If there is any negative comments, they get thrown out the window, deleted straight away. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I can see that 80% of you that watch do not subscribe, so hit that subscribe button. I think it's down there. And I will make more of these videos as part of the new series that I'm doing. And I'll see you in the next Watch When. Bye bye.